Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that everything you once believed about your limits was wrong. Not because your life suddenly changed overnight, but because your mind finally did. What if the greatest upgrade you'll ever experience isn't a new job, new skills, or new opportunities, but a new mental operating system? Today on NGO Star, we're diving into the truth most people never hear. Your mind is programmable, and you've been running on the wrong code for years. Now it's time to rewrite it. Reprogram your mind for a better life. There's something powerful about understanding that your mind is not fixed, that your habits, patterns, reactions, beliefs, and emotional responses are not permanent. Most people walk through life assuming that the way they think is the way they will always think, that their fears are built into their DNA, their insecurities are locked in their personality, and their weaknesses are irreversible traits they just have to accept. But that is the biggest lie we are ever taught. The mind is adaptable. The mind can evolve. The mind can transform itself just like a muscle grows stronger when used the right way. The reason most people never change isn't because change is impossible. It's because they've never learned how to update the system running their lives. From the moment you were born, your brain started recording every emotion, every comment, every success, every failure, every insult, every moment of fear, every moment of joy stored. And as you grew, your mind built pathways based on repetition. If you heard you weren't good enough, your brain learned to treat that as truth. If you experienced rejection, it formed the expectation of rejection. If you grew up surrounded by negativity, your brain built patterns that shaped your worldview around fear and scarcity. None of this is your fault, but all of it is your responsibility to reprogram. Your mind doesn't care whether the thoughts you repeat are empowering or destructive. It simply absorbs and executes. It becomes what you feed it. And this is where true transformation begins, with the realization that every thought you entertain is a seed, and what you allow to grow will become the forest of your future. The first step to reprogramming your mind is awareness. You cannot change what you do not notice. Start by identifying the mental loops that hold you back, the belief that you're not capable, the assumption that success is for other people, the fear of failure that stops you from trying, the habit of imagining the worst outcome before the best, the instinct to judge yourself harder than anyone else ever would. These patterns are not part of who you are, they're part of what you've learned. And anything learned can be unlearned. Now let's talk about something people rarely understand. Every thought you repeat is the instruction to your brain. If you consistently think, "I can't," your mind reorganizes itself to support that belief. If you constantly replay your past mistakes, your brain strengthens the fear associated with them. On the other hand, when you focus on thoughts like "I can figure this out, I can improve," or "I deserve a better life," your brain begins to form new pathways that strengthen confidence, clarity, and emotional resilience. It isn't magic, it's biology. The brain literally rewires based on what you think repeatedly. But repetition alone isn't enough. Emotion amplifies programming. When you attach strong emotions to a thought, whether positive or negative, it imprints deeper. That's why painful memories feel so strong. That's why empowering moments feel unforgettable. And that's why learning to attach emotion to the thoughts you want can change you faster than anything else. This is where most people get stuck. They try to think positive while still feeling negative. They try to build confidence while still treating themselves with doubt. They try to be disciplined while still believing they aren't capable of change. Reprogramming begins when thought, feeling, and action align. You cannot become who you want to be while clinging to who you were. You cannot speak power while feeling powerless. You cannot act boldly while thinking small. One of the most transformative habits you can adopt is consciously choosing the thoughts you allow to stay. You cannot control every thought that enters your mind, but you can control which ones you feed. A random negative thought is not the problem. Holding on to it is, repeating it is, building a home for it is. When you catch your mind drifting toward fear, worry, or self-criticism, interrupt it, replace it, redirect it. Every time you do this, you weaken the old wiring and strengthen the new one. Identity change happens gradually. It starts with small, repeated wins. You act like the person you want to become in tiny ways, and every successful action becomes a vote toward the new identity. Do not wait to feel ready. Do not wait for confidence. Do not wait for perfect conditions. The act of doing creates the identity you want. Another essential part of reprogramming is removing the mental barriers that were placed on you by others. Many of the limits you believe in today came from someone else's fears, someone else's insecurities, someone else's mindset. People project their limitations. They discourage you because they discourage themselves first. They tell you to be realistic because they never dared to be ambitious. They warn you about failure because they never learned how to rise. Reprogramming your mind means no longer carrying limits that were never yours. But here's something even deeper. Your mind cannot create a better future if it's still anchored to an old story. Many people cling to their past pain because it's familiar. They hold on to old identity labels because they don't know who they would be without them. They replay old memories because they've never learned to break the cycle. If you want a better life, you must stop defining yourself by your history. You are not the mistakes you made. You are not the opportunities you missed. You are not the version of you that existed before you knew better. Your future deserves a mind that looks forward, not backward. Reprogramming your mind also involves controlling what you consume. Your environment feeds your beliefs. The content you watch, the conversations you participate in, the people you surround yourself with, they shape your mindset more than you realize. If you're surrounded by negativity, you'll think negatively. If you're surrounded by fear, you'll feel fear. If you're surrounded by people who complain, doubt, or settle, your brain will mirror that behavior. But the moment you begin intentionally choosing empowering environments, books that expand you, conversations that challenge you, mentors who inspire you, routines that strengthen you, you change your internal world. Consistency is another key element of reprogramming. Your mind won't change because of one powerful moment. It changes through repeated moments. The same way a river carves through stone, repeated thoughts carve new pathways in your mind. Every day you repeat these new patterns, the old ones weaken. The brain doesn't erase the old wiring, it simply stops using it. And anything the brain stops using eventually becomes irrelevant. Let's talk about self-talk. The words you use internally are the architect of your destiny. Most people speak to themselves in a way they would never speak to someone they love. They call themselves failures, disappointments, lazy, useless, not enough. They attack themselves mentally every time something goes wrong. But imagine how powerful you would become if you spoke to yourself with the same support you offer others. Imagine telling yourself, I can handle this. I'm learning. I'm improving. I am worthy of better every single day. You would change. You cannot speak negatively and hope for a positive life. You cannot bully yourself into greatness. You grow from self-respect, not self-abuse. And here's the truth many people don't want to face. Reprogramming your mind requires responsibility. Not blame. Not shame. Responsibility. You cannot control what has happened to you, but you can control the meaning you assign to it. You can choose whether a painful memory becomes your prison or your power. Whether a failure becomes proof that you aren't capable, or proof that you're resilient. Whether a negative experience becomes a wound you carry forever, or a lesson you grow from. Your mind adapts to the meaning you choose. The next part of reprogramming is intentional imagination. Your brain does not distinguish between vividly imagined experience and reality. When you visualize success, confidence, improvement, or inner strength, your brain begins preparing for it. Athletes do this. Leaders do this. High performers do this. They mentally rehearse the future they want until their mind believes it's possible. And when your mind believes something is possible, your actions shift to align with that possibility. But visualization only works when paired with action. You cannot sit still and expect your mind to rewire itself. You must take the steps, no matter how small, that support the new version of you. Want discipline? Start with a small commitment and follow through. Want confidence? Do something slightly uncomfortable every day. Want emotional strength? Practice responding calmly when your instinct is to react. These small wins accumulate, and each one reinforces the new mental code you're installing. Reprogramming your mind is not a one-time process. It's a lifestyle. It's choosing every day to feed the thoughts that empower you. Choosing to build the identity that serves you. Choosing to break free from old patterns. Choosing to direct your focus toward growth. Choosing to challenge your fears instead of obeying them. Every day is an opportunity to rewrite the code. And with every rewrite, your life evolves. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are not limited by your past. You are a mind in the process of upgrading, and your future will look nothing like your past once you finally take control of your internal programming. If you're ready to rise, ready to think differently, ready to rebuild yourself from the inside out, then keep watching NGO Star, because we're just getting started. This is your moment. This is your new beginning. Reprogram your mind and watch your entire life transform.